Welcome to the jump off point. We have just seen The Last Jedi. I'm Sly.
Chief. And I'm Spook.
And here's our rant view. So, you two, what did you think of The Last Jedi?
I walked out of the theatre thinking that when you go to a funeral and you say your final farewell to something and you realise you're never going to see it again, that's how I feel right now.
Chief?
I'm speechless. Shattered. I don't know where the hell they got this thing from. I just don't understand how you could get to this particular point.
I can.
As I walked out, I just don't understand how
I
you
can
get to the
because J.J. Abrams is involved. Actually, I'm going to start with something different. There's two things I actually liked in the movie. And obviously it's going to have spoilers. I really liked the fact that Kylo Ren killed Snoke. I thought that was clever.
Yeah, that was
because they were really doing just the Jedi clone to that point, and then they just deviated it. The problem I have with that is that Kylo character is just such a fucking tantrum baby. He doesn't have the gravity. I mean, I was sitting there thinking this would have worked well if they built up this character to be, mature and fearsome and all that. I guess is the point. He's a fucking baby. But I liked that scene, and I really liked when Kylo and Luke were fighting. And I did notice, I was thinking, Luke stopped to have a haircut and shaved his beard.
I did think that because earlier they had that flashback to Luke, and he did look, disheveled, a haircut, and he looked younger. And I did wonder if that was going to be some sort of Force Ghost thing.
Yeah, so I actually liked that. And then Kylo runs a saber through him, and then finds out it is just a Force projection. I thought those two things were done really well. The rest of the movie was fucking terrible. I can't believe... I'm actually just going to go back to this because this is all over the first fucking movie. I can't believe the amount of coincidences that drive the plot constantly in this universe. I hated the whole Finn Rose story. They go to this fucking casino planet to find this guy. It doesn't work out. But they get locked into a cell with the one other guy who could help them. He unlocks the door. They are escaping. There's an open grate right there that they can go through. They then go into the stables. There's the one kid who knows how to open the stables so they can jump on the horse beasts. The horse beasts run them out into the fields. They get fucking cornered. And then Benicio del Toro shows up in his ship, just, flies up. They then go onto the Imperial ship. And Finn fights Phasma, they get captured. Phasma's about to execute him, but right at that time, the Rebel ship goes through the Imperial ship, and we then go back, and the whole fucking shuttle bay is in flames, but somehow Finn and Rose survive this.
In flames, with no one else around other
and Phasma
alive, but Finn and Rose.
Except for Phasma and the troop. They
were
still in formation on the other side of the dust.
And there's one perfectly pristine ship just sitting there waiting for them to get, because there's no one else wanting to get that ship.
It almost had a ray of light shining down on it. Like everything else is
just arrows saying, get here,
and the continuity was horrible because before they're about to be executed, Phasma was standing right over him. The fucking Rebel ship goes through the Imperial ship. We go back to the shuttle bay, and Phasma and her battalion of stormtroopers are coming from 40 meters away. And then Phasma and Finn fight. She knocks him off into some fucking, I don't know.
You're forgetting. The caretaker janitor fights the top-notch warrior.
But she knocks him down. She knocks him down, so it seems like he's fallen. But no, there's an elevating platform that comes up to save him. Phasma's surprised. He smashes her in the head. She falls, and the whole fucking floor collapses under her. How many coincidences can you have drive this fucking story? Nothing they did actually caused what happened next. It was just, we've got to get into this point, got to get into this point. And that's the way the whole fucking plot was. It was just so mindlessly dumb. That whole thing about suddenly we've had, 7, 8 Star Wars movies, and now we're worrying about fuel? It's like, oh, there's fuel. Were they watching Lost in Space? They thought that was a documentary. And then there's this whole fucking thing of, let's go in the transports, and guess what? A rebel planet, he just happens to be right there, an old rebel base just happens to be right next to him.
Think of it this way. They had the amount of time to go to the casino planet, find this guy, come back. Why don't they just go to the petrol pump and get some fucking more petrol somewhere along the line? Well, if they had that long to go to this planet to get whatever they need to get. Why couldn't they just go to some other planet, get a petrol tanker, and bring the petrol tanker and fill up?
The other thing is, I don't know if
I mean, honestly, it's just stupid.
I don't know if I fucking missed it because the movie was just dulling my brain. But then when the Imperials found out, or the First Order found out, oh, hang on, they've gone in freighters and they're cloaked, so we can't see them. They got that information from Benicio del Toro. Where was he? Where did he get the information from? Did Poe say it to Finn? I can't remember. Like,
I don't know if they explained that one. I thought he hacked something or other, or whatever.
But and the other thing too is, like, I was thinking.
Well, how did they find them when they actually got to that to turn off the beacon thing? How did they know they were coming?
I don't know. Look, the whole thing was stupid. I mean, the other thing too was when they escaped in the freighters. You think, you know what? Oh, hang on, I got to say something else too. But you think logically. Voldo, Laura Dern, you think she just now going to take off in like light speed and draw everyone away so the freighters can then go unopposed? And the ships, the support ships, didn't they have light speed capability?
No, they didn't.
They didn't? So how were they going by light speed? Were they just getting sucked into the main ships?
What do you mean the support ships had light speed? No, they didn't. They were just going down to that planet, weren't they?
No, not the freighter. The ones that were supporting that got destroyed earlier.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The big ones.
Yeah, the big ones.
Out of petrol.
No, I think
no, but they all had enough fuel for one more jump. But they said we can't jump because we'll get tracked.
I'm assuming, and this is obviously you do things off the page, that they took the petrol off them and put it in that ship so that it would last longer.
Well,
but that's just me assuming something off the page. That's the logical thing to do. But there's no logical in this movie.
Those support ships there were trying to add tension to a tensionless moment.
But the thing is,
they tried to copy.
Oh, hang on, there is some stakes here. We are ponderously going away so slowly.
How the fuck can they not have ships to blow up? Let's be honest.
If we blow one up every now and then, at least the audience, if they're still awake at this point, knows that there's some sort of tension and presence.
But this is where logically it kills me, because you have whatever, the main ship and like the 10 support ships, one was a medical ship and all that sort of stuff. Alright, you know what? The Imperials can only follow you while you're staying all together. So surely, all of you just give the order. Everyone go in a fucking different direction. They can only follow one of us.
But the Imperials, you got Snoke's super ship, and you got probably another 6 or 7 Star Destroyers, and they have not a couple of ships that can go and fight them. They can just shoot from far range. They must have had 10,000 TIE fighters or something. You could go and just batter those ships. Again, is that all they got? TIE fighter and their super ships. They got nothing in between. No bombers.
This is the other thing. In seven movies, this is the first time apparently the Rebels have the faster ships, just at normal cruise speed, which I don't know. And actually, just before I go, this fucking First Order is amazing. They built the Starkiller base. They built these dreadnoughts. They built Snoke's Imperial super ship. And they had that ground cannon. It's like, what was the fucking point of the original 3 movies? Apparently, they just went and continued making weapons, not just weapons, but fucking newer things and better things. And I'm curious if they will actually explain who Snoke was in the 3rd movie.
How pointless was he?
Now,
honestly, you've built him up as the big bad, and then you just lopped him.
That's the thing.
It's like, how stupid.
Everything thus far feels ultimately pointless.
Yeah.
Phasma was just the most pointless character.
She'll be back.
Who's the red-headed prick who just sits there and gets slapped around a bit?
Hux.
He's pointless. Snoke ended up being pointless.
Pointless.
It's just Ren. I mean, what? So he's the ultimate big bad now.
Little crybaby big bad.
So you obviously take him out in the next film, or you redeem him, which is
you can't redeem him.
What can you do? That's all you can do.
Oh, of course they'll redeem him somehow. They'll all hug at the end of the fucking movie, and a pog will jump out his nose.
All right, let's go to something that I heard Chief mumbling to himself in the movie, like he's getting so angry. What do you think of that character Mark Hamill played?
Who, the guy with the grey beard and the long hair on the island? Who was it?
Let's distinguish him.
I don't know who he was.
Let's distinguish him.
We were Luke,
as Puke Skywalker.
Once we were Luke. I mean, honestly, do you actually expect? Look, I know Spook in the first one said, Luke Skywalker was missing, and we talked about that he'd never do that, and he'd never actually try and kill Kylo. His old man Darth was this big bad, had done that much bad things, and he still saw good in him.
No,
but with Kylo, oh no, I'm going to try.
No,
I'm going to try and kill him as a 14-year-old kid. It's like
no, but that makes sense because Vader went and killed all the kids, so it runs in the family. They just kill kids. These Skywalkers, let's go kill some kids.
Just absolutely stupid. I mean, his whole basis was about redemption. The whole 3 movies that he was in, and Anakin, the whole first six movies was about redemption. Yet he sees Kylo and says, "Oh, I'm going to kill him." Even if he just thought about
for an
it,
instant, yeah,
he never would have thought about it. He would have said, "I can save this guy. He's got still turmoil in him. I can save him." How the
Well, that's what Ray was always drawing on. Ray's always saying, I can save. And actually, so let me just go continue it. I'm going to sort of jump sideways for a bit. Ray and fucking Kylo fight. There's an explosion because they're both reaching for the same lightsaber with the Force. In the next scene, Hux comes into there and Kylo's passed out. What? And Ray just left.
Yep.
So in his whole universe, apparently when you have the bad guy down, you just go, yeah, I've done my bit. I'll just leave. Like Obi-Wan left in Revenge of the Sith, where he just left Anakin burning on the bank. You think, how much turmoil and pain and misery could he have saved if he just went down and put the lightsaber through
look,
his...
she's trying to save him. She's still trying to save me because she's not going to go and kill him.
She could have saved me by just killing him.
She's gone all the way back to the ship and given herself in to try and save him. She's not going to kill him as he's lying there half dead.
Well, she would have taken him prisoner. And the other thing too is, again, the way coincidences and just bullshit drive this movie. Yoda just pops up to fucking, redeem Luke.
How stupid was that? No, not Luke.
I miss
the guy.
Puke.
Once we were Luke, whoever we call. Honestly, Luke was such a piss week. It's just he's pointless in this movie. I was looking forward to the Luke moments, and most of them were rubbish.
They should have renamed him Luke Shit Talker.
Oh, man. And Yoda comes up. But Luke was pointless, weak as in this film. You would have thought he'd be the one to blow everything up. I don't mind, I'm not doing it, but he should be the one to blow up
him as a character is not salvageable. Once you've taken that stance that it was all too hard in the first one, and I'm just going to fuck off, how do you bring him back into the fold?
And his whole reason that he left, obviously, was because he felt guilty that he wanted to kill Kylo.
It's a logic bomb.
And then Kylo killed him.
Well, Kylo's this big bad. I sense in you you're going to be this big bad, and I'll deal with you by hiding on a planet for 20 years.
Yeah.
And you can go off and wreak havoc, establish a first order, and I'll sit here and do nothing.
So, but the thing
doesn't make sense.
The thing about Fast Awakens, I guess I was looking for the optimistic side, is when Han went into Indiana Jones mode and he said, Luke went off to find the old Jedi temple. And I thought he went off to look for, like, resources or whatever, something to help him, not just to go hide. He's the stupidity in his character in this character in this movie. Luke describes everything to fucking do with the Jedi. He hates them. It's fucking time for Jedi to end. So where I'm going to do that, I'm going to go hide on the Jedi planet with all the Jedi techs and just leave them all there and not do anything about them, because that's how strongly I feel about the Jedi ending. Surely he should have went there and nuked the planet. And while I'm fucking on that planet, how much wildlife is on that planet? There's the birds from Dr. Zeus who give out the green milk.
There's the big milk titties.
Yeah, the Dr. Zeus beasts. The little fish faces. And the penguins.
The nuns.
And one thing too, just as a visual, this reminded me a lot of the special editions of the original trilogy. The ones... what's his name? Lucas went back and re-edited. There's always just so much shit going on the screen. It was distracting. There's like one scene of Ray just standing there on the cliff and the ocean was going, and you saw this big tail.
I noticed that.
And then when the horses ran through the casino, you see this multi-breasted woman with a soprano voice start singing as the horses ran towards. And there was just constantly things going on, and thinking this doesn't actually add to this universe. It just detracts me from what the story trying to tell me, because instead of my focus being on your story, it's distracted by something stupid happening in the corner of the screen. It really just got annoying.
And I actually found that whole fucking casino section dead.
It was just nothing. They did it poorly.
And do I really want to see Star Wars characters walking around in tuxedos playing fucking casino games? Well, what does it add?
And why would they let Finn and Rose in
dressed like
bums? Scum? Yeah. They wouldn't let them in like that. They'd say, "What are you doing here?" Basically, if it's all the rich of the rich. And these guys are coming in like that. Oh, you could just wander in and not worry about it. Wander around, run all around the casino. Where's the heavy goons just to beat them up before they even get anywhere?
It's just stupid.
And it's going back to Rey. How much of a bitch is she when she beats up Luke? You know,
yeah.
She goes after him when he walks away, and then goes after him with his own lightsaber. It's like, what the? Are you for real? You come to this guy to help, and this is what you do.
That actually reminded me.
Honestly.
That actually reminded me a lot of Spook's favorite character, Michael Burnham, in the first episode of Discovery, when she neck pinches the captain. It's like, can't deal with this. You just can't lose control.
And her whole in the cave moment was pretty crap.
But the whole thing was
nothing. There's nothing.
I'll tell you one of the worst moments was that Maz Kanata thing.
It's pointless.
It was like it was a video game where she's shooting. And apparently she knows everyone you can just go to.
And the GoPro just really shoots it like it's shooting footage, not like I'm wearing a wrist thing of a communicator. Follow me like this. You get to see action shots of her firing, and then the camera watches her rocket up through the roof.
That reminded me a lot of Poochie in The Simpsons.
I have to go now. My planet needs me.
And they just pushed herself up. It was really stupid. I don't know. I actually probably thought Poe was a little bit better in this, but again, he was really volatile to the point where I think you can't really. There
was no coolness in Poe.
No,
but that was just Leia grooming him for leadership.
Oh, Leia. I thought it was really cool when Kylo actually, just paused a moment before he shot the bridge of that ship. And then the TIE fighter shot it anyway. And the whole bridge explodes and Leia gets sucked down to space. I was thinking, I wonder if they revised this to accommodate Carrie Fisher's passing.
And
then she's, I don't know, she's so force capable that she resisted.
So force capable that she's never used the force. That
she's resisted.
She's resisted the cold of space and being able to move herself in space with the force.
Maybe she is really strong in the force. It's just like nothing's been explained away in the last 20 years, really. Just a couple of flashbacks. And the other thing that bugged me throughout this film is I was saying to the Chief when we come out of the cinema, generally when you make films and you make a trilogy, they've got to follow each other. They've got to be almost linear to a point. It's like Force Awakens ended, and then they started this one several gears up the line, not in a line, but there were so many things that just felt disconnected between the two.
Yeah.
Like you had that flashback scene on where Rey or where Luke was taken down or something by the Knights of Ren, and you had that shot of Kylo Ren in full fucking regalia and his cohorts, and they've attacked. And there's some sort of battle in that flashback that Rey has when the magic lightsaber turned up, and none of that was sort of addressed here. Now it's gone from that.
Oh yeah, that's
to,
right. Yeah,
well,
from the first.
There was about 3 different takes of how Luke stood over me with a lightsaber, and I force pushed him and dragged a wall down on top of his head.
And that was it. And then I took the kids and I left. There's no explanation.
We haven't seen the kids either.
There's no explanation about how Snoke influenced Kylo in the first instance, which you hope somewhere along the line. But now Snoke's Smoke.
We'll never find out now.
Well, he's Smoke because he was pointless. It was like he had that much substance.
It actually felt like
and if he comes back alive, let's just blow up.
It actually felt like
blow up Lucasfilm and Disney.
It actually felt like Rian Johnson also found some of the premises of Vast stupid, so he tried to retcon them, like the helmet that Kylo wears.
Let's get rid of it. Yeah.
So he just and again he has a tantrum. He just smashes it into the wall. But it was like there's a few things like that where I was just thinking he's found it objectionable and said, "Nah, I'm not going to carry that over in my film. That's just dumb. Why'd you introduce it?" But then again, the whole film was dumb. So
and
who's
what
the judge?
A complete fucking surprise. We didn't get an explanation how that saber was in Maz Kanata's box in the basement. It's good because you've written themselves into such a dead end on so many elements of farce. Again, you're going to treat the audience with contempt here and just say, well, we're not going to go back and address it because it was ridiculous in the first instance. Let's just go off and move the film in this direction.
Let's just forget about it and
it's like what I said in our before the jump. This is the ultimate stake in the ground where I have now severed ties. Not me personally, I have though, with the Star Wars franchise, and it's just blasted into a whole new fucking... Yeah, you actually had fucking Luke explaining that for the dumb people in the audience who didn't pick up on that.
The what bit?
Oh, this is it. Well, you failed that statement, and he said that how many times?
Yeah.
That statement's wrong on these many accounts, and this is the reason why the resistance, which was snuck in 48 times, that it's now the rebellion, is rebellion against what I'm still not sure. That's now been rebuilt with all these new people. We've got hope, and I'm not going to be the last Jedi because this one is now.
Yeah.
Yeah, what the fuck? And then they killed him off. I mean, I fucking knew that was going to happen, but what a fucking dog.
Do you know they're going to kill him off in such a shit way?
Oh, Jesus. But again, it's just really burying everything that made Star Wars great to launch a franchise for the Disneyites.
And the whole movie was just rehash. You know, basically some of that just seemed word for word from Jedi or Empire.
I didn't mind some of that Jedi rehashing. Like, I actually thought it was really shit when they were doing it, but then when they took it a different direction, I was thinking, okay, that's sort of a little bit clever.
No, that's stupid. It's
So, I
stupid.
mean,
You got
but
that much to do. The Vader Luke thing was based taken word for word nearly with Kylo and Rey. I can turn you. I can feel the conflict. Really?
I mean, structurally, it was
Seriously?
Structurally, it was Empire, because in Empire you have Han running away from the Empire.
Oh, that was the asteroid thing. The whole thing was the asteroid.
No, but it's like Han running away from the
asteroid
but remember,
Millennium
like,
Falcon thing.
But remember, the Imperials are chasing the Millennium Falcon while Luke's getting training. In this one, the Imperials are chasing Leia again.
Really slowly, though.
Yeah, really slowly.
Really slow. With no other ships because they can't afford to have any. You know,
while Rey's
Putting
trying to
some
get training.
firecrackers at him.
You know, and
Yeah.
Rey's trying to get trained.
And then they put in the Jedi bit with Snoke, and then they twisted it. Basically, then they picked up the Jedi bit because Rey gave herself up to try and turn.
Well, this also feels like there was one of these
Kylo.
strange premises where Rian Johnson, where someone said, "Well, look, Rey's going to be, the daughter of Luke or the daughter of Palpatine," and Rian Johnson goes, "Nah, everyone's saying that on the net.
Yeah,
Let's totally, retcon it and say she's nobody."
You're sold by some drunks.
What's that? Kylo says it. He goes, "You're the daughter of nobody. You don't belong in this story." Well, I don't think anyone else did either. Alright, so before I went nuts at Finn's story...
What story?
His arc to go break a code
Did
to...
he have an arc?
That's what I also. What story?
It was just another bland background decoration.
But, to go off... I mean, I actually really... Actually, let me just go on Finn for a second. Is this the most informed janitor in the fucking galaxy? Is there anything he does not know?
I am the First Order wiki page.
And he met Rose, who could do it all as well. I don't know where she could do it all because she could fly the ship at the end as well.
I thought that because
That's
she
where
said,
got that
I've
from.
got a job down here which was polishing pipes or something.
Yeah.
And now I'm a fucking pilot. And like Finn, I mean, apart from the fact he's the new fucking Rey in this film, he can do everything and knows everything. When did he become a pilot as well? He couldn't fly the fucking TIE fighter out of the ship. He needed Poe to do that in Force Awakens. I don't think he flew a ship anywhere in between. Then he jumps in
He's unconscious, so...
He jumps in these ship boxes and suddenly he's a combat pilot.
You know what Finn really needs? Finn needs a line of dialogue, something like, "I've mopped Starkiller bases, I've mopped Imperial ships, I've mopped just about anywhere I could mop in the First Order. I've learnt a thing or two about what to do."
Oh, come on. They gave him that line of Chrome Dome to...
Yeah.
I mean, geez, how many times did the attempts at humour in this film miss its mark?
There was a lot of bad jokes. There was
Jokes.
There was just some humour. I was just thinking, it's really tacky, crappy sort of...
It doesn't fit in the universe. Star Wars doesn't have that type of humour.
That's the sort of
the Marvel tongue-in-cheek humour.
It's almost like that Seth MacFarlane Orville humour, which is just really jarring whenever you hear it. And it's also not that... I shouldn't say it's not that funny, because it's not funny at all. So there's no qualification of that. But anyway, so Finn had that whole fucking storyline and met we just talked about, we met the plumber, who also could do everything, Rose. And then she stuns him. And again, that's meant to be humorous. I just stun him because I think you're deserting. It's like, how hard would it be for him to say, "Look, I'm not deserting, I just need to go away because...
I'm on a secret mission from... Because then, if he's the hero, if she's like, "You're a hero," you said, "Look, I'm on a secret mission. I've got to go do some stuff."
But the thing is too, it's like, I think
to save the ship.
I think I murmured it in the cinema too. Is like you're being pursued. The First Order.
Yeah, where are you going to go?
The First Order can't monitor. Oh, hang on, look, there's there's a fucking escape pod just leaving that ship. Should we pick that up? You think they'd learn from bloody A New Hope where they didn't pick up that escape pod and some planes went fucking missing? You think they'd be trying to nail everything? So Poe. I seriously fucking hated that whole when you face down the whole First Order, like the opening scene.
That was when the stupid first bit of jokes they tried to put in, and just really the First Order's there to blow up every. The First Order's there to blow up every single ship, and you're going to wait for this guy. He's going to say, and then blow that ship up, and then blow all them up too.
And then he flies across the dreadnought, taking out every fucking cannon. Not just one or two. He's taking out every fucking cannon. It's like they're the sort of video game scenes where you think, all right, you know, you're doing that. You're just not going to die in this film because if you're getting away with that shit, there's no peril in this fucking movie.
Oh, no, there never was going to be.
You know,
And it all came down to the end of the day too. I've got to take out that one last cannon because that is the one that's the pivotal one, or it's suddenly going to fucking swing the odds back in the first order. You've taken out every other fucking gun emplacement, but there's just one left. So the other cruisers just couldn't come in and fucking shoot it?
Well, they had fighters as well. They had bombers and fighters coming in behind him. So they could have said, all right, a couple of the fighters, you go take that cannon out, please. Because we need to get rid of it.
And you seriously have bombers that need to fly over the top of their targets?
Well, that's what I was going to say. I mean, bombers, that's just...
And this is
does
like,
that premise work in space?
It's
Shouldn't they just
a bomb,
float away?
It's like a gravity bomb. It works.
It's a gravity bomb in space.
It works around when you're inside of a planet or flying in an atmosphere. Surely in space,
why are you picking out these things?
What about the sweet visuals?
Oh, it's
just such a nice scene.
It's nitpicking. But the thing is, though,
it's not nitpicking. It's just
stupid. It's true. I mean, any sort of scene you watch, if you start raising questions, and it's not because you want to raise questions. I don't go to these fucking movies and watch these television shows because I want to pick holes in them. I just want to enjoy whatever it is for as long as it runs. If it's bringing up stupid shit in my analytical part of my brain starts going, well, yeah, that's not going to fucking happen. You need to fucking answer those questions because if I'm not going to be the only one who's sort of sitting there going, oh yeah, that's not really going to happen. But right now, it doesn't seem like Hollywood really gives a shit. It just seems like they think, fuck it. No one cares about logic. And I mean, they all come from the JJ universe of, you know, who gives a fuck. Yeah, shit happens because it needs to happen. But anyway, so getting back to Poe, he seemed really tempestuous. Actually, one really funny thing with Poe was quite possibly I shouldn't say the stupidest thing in this movie because I'm sure I might say that again in about 45 seconds. So he seemed to have this arc of you need to learn responsibility, you need to learn to make the right decisions and all this shit. He goes and challenges Laura Dern's Voldo, I think her name was.
Voldemort.
Whatever it is. And he calls her a traitor and all this shit. And this killed me when this happened. He called her a traitor and all this shit. And she goes, get this man off my bridge. And you'd think, all right, he's just accused you of being a fucking traitor in front of everyone. You think you'd probably secure him somewhere. But in the very next scene, he's on his communicator to fucking Finn, who's flying back. Thinking, that's got to be the worst removal of someone from a bridge. And then he accosts them all in the shuttle bay or in the fighter bay and draws guns on them. It's like, you didn't understand this guy was a fucking freak. You just let him run around.
It's all part of his prep work for being head of the rebellion.
Yeah, for the next movie.
You've got to have all these moments of great
growth.
Yeah, or being a great hero so that you can be looked at as the leader. You wouldn't fucking follow this guy into a chicken shop.
But yeah, I mean, then
if you wanted to die, yeah, you'd follow him everywhere.
Then they have the raid on the cannon at the end, and he pulls him out, but Finn disobeys. And this shit at me too is then Finn's going to go on this suicide mission to take out his cannon, but Rose knocks his ship just right at the last moment.
Yeah, how'd she get round so fast?
But it's stupid. He goes into the cannon fire and he doesn't die.
Fly above it, or go to the left and then come in.
He actually goes straight into the middle of the cannon fire, so that cannon fire can knock down this super steel door that no one can knock down, but it can't knock his ship down. Really?
But I mean,
truly.
But the really funny thing was,
honestly,
like, she knocks him down at the last instance. Like, he was going to be successful. He was going to knock out the cannon, but then she knocks him out. They both fucking crash. He goes, chases her down, and she makes some stupid speech about, it's not about fighting what you hate, it's about saving what you love. And I'm thinking, you do realise you only escaped because Laura Dern, or Holdo, whatever her name is, she sacrificed herself in exactly the same manoeuvre to fucking destroy a ship. And that's sometimes what you just need to do in battle, in war. You know, you will fucking sacrifice. I mean, the Japanese had kamikaze pilots. That was the whole philosophy of, you know, you sometimes...
Stupid.
And I loved the fact that she said to Leia, someone's going to stay back here and fly the ship. Well, because these ships don't have any fucking...
There's no autopilot on these ships.
No, you couldn't get one of the fucking droids to stand there and... Like, all she did was then stand there and look out the fucking window. Until the ship had to be turned around and flown into the fleet. And it just beautifully takes out every fucking ship somehow.
And the amount of...
Why didn't they do that earlier?
But also the amount of times...
Fantastic.
The amount of times they gave the order, concentrate all firepower on that one thing. So that everything else could just, you know, go off. Like, you know, when the freighters were going, concentrate all firepower on the freighters, don't worry about the ship anymore. Luke, concentrate all firepower on Luke. It was always sort of constantly just focus on that one guy, one thing, letting someone else just continue with their fucking journey in this movie. But also Poe, gotta say this is what quite possibly the fucking stupidest thing when Luke went out to face Kylo, and Poe like has a aha moment. He goes, "Wait, I think he's stalling. I think he wants us to get away." And you know what's the really the funniest thing about that? Luke, even if it's a force projection, because he spoke with Leia, so obviously he had capability of communication shit. Surely,
he spoke with Kylo as well.
Yeah. So surely, if Luke fucking walks into the Resistance base, he would have said, "Here's my plan. I'm gonna go stall. You go while I'm stalling." Why wouldn't he say that? I mean, because it sort of parallels in
There's
New
only
Hope.
like 12 people in there. Why wouldn't you say it?
It parallels in New Hope where Obi-Wan does the same thing, but Obi-Wan never has the chance to communicate. This is what I'm doing. He just does it, and he lets the others sort of pick. They don't even actually realise he does it.
That's a moment though when he looks across and, and he makes that decision that I'm going to sacrifice myself.
Yeah.
I don't think up to that point he was intending to die.
No, but that was the good thing. But he never had any predetermination with any of the other characters. He never had the opportunity to say to the other characters, I'm going. Luke had fucking quite a bit of conversation there where he could have just told any of them. Why Poe needed to actually have this aha moment, it just sort of seemed bizarre. Surely you just...
It's his growth journey in the movie.
But it's not about Poe having that moment. It's just surely Luke would have just said, "Look, I'm going to stall him. You go."
This is probably like problem number 26 so far.
I think so.
But it's also stalling against. I mean, it wasn't really a great show of force by the First Order, was it? They had about 8 fucking walkers that didn't really do anything.
There's only 12. There's only 12 people on the planet, so who cares?
You got 12 resistance members. You got about 12 fucking First Order people going at each other.
Oh yeah.
It just didn't.
No, you had about 10 AT-ATs. You had that other ship, and that was more than enough to take care of 12 people.
All right, let's get to our favourite character of Rey. I had this conversation with a friend about we were talking about he'd seen and he was telling me, I think you'll like it and all that. And I go, I don't think I will, because I don't think the characters have any journey or they don't have any dimensionality. And he goes, well, Luke and Han and Leia did. And I disagreed. I said, I believe Luke and Han had a great journey in the first one. Leia was pretty much the same. And I said, with Rey, I don't think anything's going to happen other than you're going to hear more of her backstory.
I didn't even get that.
And you didn't even get that. But not the funny thing, but the stupid thing was, you thought she was kick-ass in the first movie. In this movie, her lightsaber ability has just gone up another fucking cog.
Oh, hang on. She had 3 lessons.
Oh, yeah. But she didn't have any,
that was lesson 2, though. What was the third lesson? I don't even know what the third lesson was.
But she didn't have any.
I think it was just 2 lessons.
She only had the 2 lessons, but she didn't have any lessons in ability. I mean, all the lessons were Luke's embittered rants about why the Jedi fucking have to end.
Oh no, the first lesson was about the Force.
Oh, it's about the balance and all that shit. But that's what at the end of that lesson, he divorced it from the Jedi. He goes, Jedi think it's all about them and all that shit, but it's not about them and all that sort of stuff. But then she took on all those red.
Well, they must have been the Knights of Ren. I imagine that's who the Knights of Ren were.
Lightsabers,
they never, yeah.
They would just look like the Imperial Guard
from... Knights of Ren, then?
No, but those guys were in Return of the Jedi.
Yeah,
they were in Revenge of the Sith. They were also in Revenge of the Sith. But they seemed pretty capable. And she was mowing through them, 2 at a time and stuff like that.
Again, she outfought Kylo, who's had all his training.
Yep.
Saved him again.
I mean, it was nice that...
again,
but then again, you get that stupidity of... She tried to fight Luke, and Luke took care of her pretty easily until she called for the lightsaber, and he just sort of said, well, you're now taking it too far. It still is sort of think, why would Luke sacrifice himself to that extent where he could probably just go show up, confront Kylo, and kill him? And that would be the end of this whole fucking series. Why would he go to this elaborate subterfuge of projecting the Force ghost so 12 members of the Resistance can get away and found a new Resistance to fight this fucking Empire in this endless battle of toing and throwing and shit? Why wouldn't he just face them down? Well, no one's got an answer, so...
Because he wanted to die, I don't know.
But that's the stupidity...
That's the only thing you can think of.
But that's the stupidity, and this is what you've both said, the stupidity of this universe in this series. It's not the Luke we know. The fucking Luke we know would have tried to amend, for whatever errors he had as a teacher. He would have fucking faced down Kylo. He would have faced down... old Snoke.
Well, Yoda's pretty tough for a dead guy.
Oh, he had Force capability.
30 years dead guy. I mean, he's tougher than Luke was.
Yeah.
Luke's. We always said Luke's good things about Luke was that he failed, but he succeeded in effect in what he did in his 3 films. Star Wars, Empire, and Jedi. You know, he failed a lot, but in the end, he succeeded in what needed to be done. In this one, he just failed, and there's no success.
I don't think he even tried.
No, but there's no.
I'm not even going to bother. I'll fuck it up.
But he couldn't even burn down that Jedi Temple thing. You know, it's like, I'm not gonna. What would have been good? He just went there, and he's the one who brought down all the lightning, because Yoda was pointless. Yoda told him nothing. Let's be honest, Yoda was useless.
And the hilarity of Yoda was there saying, did you even read the books? He goes, no.
No.
Well, you've been
Would you
there
see at the end, actually,
you've been
Ray
there
must
20
have
years,
taken the books.
and there was 4 books.
Yeah.
Could you not fucking read them?
No, well, you would have thought so.
But another thing that should be is Yoda's speak has been pretty terrible in all the prequels, and now that they've used him.
Yeah,
the way,
Frank Oz must be about 900 in the show.
No, not the sound of his voice. I'm saying the way they've done his vernacular and that, because he always had that reverse sort of dialogue. But he's talking about the Jedi books, and he goes, "Oh, a page turner they are not." And it's like, would you really fucking use a term like page turner? Isn't that like a sort of real contemporary term?
This is the guy that headed up the Jedi Order all the way up through these prequel films and stuff, and has a lot of respect for the Jedi. And it's just laughing at it now.
Yeah,
time to get rid of it.
Yeah.
It's fucking worthless.
By the way, I want to fucking throw in one qualification about all our arguments is because you say something and then someone go, "Oh, but they did it in this movie. They did it in Revenge of the Sith or whatever." And it's like, yeah, they weren't good movies, and they committed a lot of shit. And if your defense is, well, they did some shit in those bad movies, that's not really a great defense. It's like you should be fucking above that. You should be producing something better than that. And this was really bad. I really wanted to like I found once I sat down. And I know in the Before the Jump preview I said I've sort of totally uninvested. I still wanted to like it. And like I said, there was a couple of moments I thought, yeah, they were really cool. But the rest of it was just dumb, coincidental.
Uninteresting.
And introduction of a lot of new characters who had... The only arc seemed to be to die. Like Laura Dern was interesting. Okay, maybe she'll take her from. She's dead. Rose. She's critically injured. It's like, oh, okay. No, that. I don't know the name of the pilot. The one in the bomber. Oh, she's introducing, giving her a bit of time. Oh, hang on, she's dead too. It's like, why introducing all these people just to kill them? You surely should have some supporting cast. That's probably JJ's fault because they should have introduced these people in fast. It's like in The New Hope they introduced Wedge. And he went through the whole free movies, and he's got a massive cult following because he was just an incidental character that, survived all 3 movies. And honestly, a lot of us marked out in Return of the Jedi when he was responsible or half responsible for destroying the Death Star. It's like, yes, Wedge!
Just back on Luke for a second, though. How good was his...
was in this movie?
Puke. How good was his 50 statements about, I'm not coming back, you're wasting your time here, Then R2 turns up and turns on the old image of Leia, and he goes, oh, that's a low blow. And then he just walks out the door and says, well, we start training tomorrow. What, because of that? Because Leia, implored Obi-Wan to come and help? It just didn't seem like it was a convincing enough argument.
The whole Luke was not... Luke wasn't. No wonder, before the movie he's told me about how Mark Hamill decided that he wanted to play Luke.
But that's actually...
I understand, because it's not him at all whatsoever.
That's a really interesting. Movie Web had an article about Mark Hamill where he just said, I wish they got on George Lucas's input, but understand, why they didn't. They want to go another way, and they're hugely popular. And it was like a very diplomatic way, as far as I was concerned, of him saying... You've totally fucking missed the point on this. You probably should have consulted George Lucas. But, I'll give you credit because they're popular or whatever. But like, that to me was just like, I don't want to be seen as totally embittered like Luke.
This is just the mouse flagging that this franchise is new now and it's going here. You've had your moments with your old cast members. For all you old people out there like us who loved it once, that's it. You're done.
You're going to come see these things anyway, so I really don't care.
You're
going to
I
pay
don't know
money.
if we'll see it.
You don't
see
matter.
it.
Luke will come back for 8 seconds as a Force Ghost.
Of course he will.
I know, but
probably at the end,
I don't know if I'm
they're all
putting this effort.
celebrating.
And going, no.
Yeah, well,
They're Klingons.
maybe not.
We're going to bring the Ewoks in the next one?
Yeah,
Why not? Well, let's bring some other fuzzy things.
The penguins is... Actually, I found that, when I look back, that scene where Chewie was eating some of them.
No, he was eating a chicken. He wasn't eating the penguins.
No, they were the penguins. That's like, at first I thought they were chickens, and they wanted the penguins to be fed. But then when I look back, I go, no, they're pretty small.
Body was, he killed them, and then he murders them, cooks them, and then feels guilty about eating them at the end because they looked at him crying. Well, how about when he was hatching them to death? Well, they weren't just upset then. Hey, I didn't like Frank. He was a prick.
We probably just grabbed one and bit the head off it and just yes, that one.
Well, the other thing is when Rey started practicing with the lightsaber and cut the rock.
Yeah.
And the rock fell down and basically nearly killed those two
fish.
those two fish
That was-
caretakers.
the fish nuns, yeah.
I bet you people laughed at that. It's like, wait a minute, she just nearly killed these two people just because she's got, she's an idiot.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. It's like it's all sort of incidental action which is meant to derive humour, and it's not. It's actually just deriving a lot of fucking questions and stupidity.
Yeah. There's no sense of accomplishment with using the Force in these films. You're just fucking good at it. And you just get fucking better in the space of a couple of days.
Yeah.
She's now some sort
she's
of
just some
hyper,
super
global,
Jedi.
super Jedi master
Well,
without any training
Well,
or
at the
understanding
end,
of what she
she
does.
could basically hold a mountainside, let's be honest. She could hold a mountainside by the Force. So basically from the
Maybe
time
she's
that she
Kryptonian.
could... No, maybe she's Kryptonian. From the time she could do that, Luke could barely, couldn't lift up the X-Wing at the time after trained under Yoda, but she can hold up a mountainside.
And they're great examples about how, and Yoda was pretty upfront in those films by saying he's too old to be trained. You're implying all the way through this, and Luke's struggling to lift the thing. He's in amazement when Yoda lifts the ship. There's a whole sense of there's a lot of work here to be done to actually get to this point. Now you can just fucking do it because you have to do it.
But that's actually a really interesting thing is when she went and spoke to Luke, and Luke goes, well, what's the Force? And she goes, oh, well, you can control people and lift rocks.
You can force them to do things.
And it's like, I was thinking, that's actually her whole conceptualization of what the Force is, and yet she's so
Fucking
powerful
in
at
tune.
it. Yeah, and that should never have been allowed to happen as in terms of story. That should not have...
She never learnt anything. I mean,
That's what I'm saying, she never-
and if her parents were nobodies, as they said in it, how did how did she get that powerful? Luke's parents was Anakin. He had a lineage.
And she's the spawn of a couple of drunks who sold her.
And if you look at something like A New Hope, like Obi-Wan recognised, well, Luke's got the Force, and then you have sort of examples of Luke trying to use the Force, like with the little cute, sphere which was shooting lasers at him on the Millennium Falcon, and he gets hit a few times, but then he defends a few. And then on the Death Star run, when he's in the trench,
And Vader.
he is, and Vader senses the Force is stronger for this one, and Luke hears use the Force, Luke, and Luke turns off the targeting computer and just flies by his instinct. However, he does that for a bit, and Vader goes, the Force is stronger for this one. But Vader actually ultimately targets him, is about to take him out. And that's when the Millennium Falcon saves it. So it's still sort of saying, well, you got the Force, you got greater potential for it, but you're still not great at it. So you actually need training.
Well, it's like Vader toys with him in Empire. It's just like slaps him around, without an issue.
But Rey is brilliant in totally everything she does.
With no training, with nothing, just
totally
straight away.
instinctually. And again, she has no arc. She was kick-ass at the beginning of Fast, and she's still kick-ass now. And it's
She's great at kick-ass.
Yeah, she's
super
great kick-ass.
And she's beaten Kylo basically twice, so it's like, well, where's your tension going to come from in the third movie?
Yeah, that's
given. And even Snoke said, he goes, oh, fuck, how good are you? You lost a girl that's never picked up a lightsaber. And it's like,
because he was conflicted, and that's why.
It's like, and all the way through Fast, Snoke's talking up the potential of Ren to be quite good. Right from the outset of this film, he's hanging shit on him. You fucking weak prick. You were shit. You were dumb. You were worse than shit. Yeah, any wonder he's fucking angry and stuff and having tantrums all the time. With admonishments like that, it's just incredible. I just don't understand that Kylo Ren character. What is he supposed to be at the end of the day?
To me, I think the closest probably parallel is someone like Damien in The Omen, because he's just a kid with his
Damien had
power.
purpose. He knew he was going to be an evil prick. I'm just full of conflict and I smash stuff.
But that's the thing, is like he has the childhood, the juvenile mentality, but he has the great ability. But again, I don't know if that's a statement they're trying to make. I doubt it, because I don't think J.J. Abrams is that deep a filmmaker. Rian Johnson's a lot better at that, but I don't think that's what they're trying to do. I think that's just the way he's come across, and the way that what's his name, Adam Driver is played him. It just seems like if they actually cast someone who had like a lot of gravity about him and really carried that purpose.
Look, Adam Driver was better in this film than he was in Force Awakens. I thought for what he had to work with, I thought it was not too bad.
But he's not relatable in any sense.
But I don't think you're trying to.
But it's the same.
You don't care about any of these.
But it's the
characters,
same thing
let's
as
be honest.
Hayden Christensen in the prequels, where I thought he was a lot better in Revenge of the Sith, but he was so juvenile and whiny, and Adam, I mean, I guess it runs in this fucking family. I mean,
Teasing me.
yeah. So I slaughtered them like animals. But it's like, I think with this, you need to go the other way and create someone who's
Super cool.
yeah, really cool and just like fucking kick ass and embraced it, you know. And even if you get back to Fast, I actually think a lot better scene when Kylo faces Han is if there was no conflict. If fucking Kylo just goes, yep, yes, I'll kill him.
It was only when the sun went behind the cloud that was symbolic.
But it's just like if he just sort of
Oh, it's
really,
dark. I must be dark again.
if he really embraced that stuff, you know, I reckon it just would have been a lot better. So I just don't think they've given the character maturity that.
No, he should have been fully formed by the first film. But
Or on his, but even if he's not fully,
like Vader was.
but even if he's not fully formed, he should have been. You should have seen the actual potential in him to go, shit, he's really scary, tough, frightening. It should have been one of these sort of.
You mean getting beaten by Ray and Finn? You know, is just not tough.
Honestly, I mean,
Even Snoke called him out on that.
That's well, so he should. It's like
You
a
got
piss
beaten
week.
by a girl.
But honestly, if
And the guy who's not even
I probably
person.
if I'd been given the job of writing Fast or doctoring it or whatever, I would have said, you know what, let's introduce one more character here who's going to be a friend of Finn, and we're just going to kill him because that's going to show how tough Kylo is. Kylo's just going to fucking dispose of him, and then toy with Rey and Finn, and until, you know, whatever the saviors come.
But no, you could have just toyed with him anyway. This is just shit
But
filmmaking.
you would, yeah. But then I'd have had someone that he kills him just to show, you know, hang on, this guy's just totally cold blooded. But I mean, I don't know. I guess they're trying to go for that indecisive or that indecision in his
conflict.
character, the conflict.
So why did Ray leave? Kylo said, "Join me." Why did Ray leave? She wants to turn him. Why didn't she stay?
Yeah, who knows? I mean, it is a good point.
Oh well, that whole feeling the conflict. You have a relationship between Luke and Vader that, you know, runs through the first three films. Or, you know, well, Luke doesn't know in the first film. He doesn't know that Vader's his father, but when he finds out his father, he starts to believe he feels conflict in him. So they have a biological relationship, and they have another bond and all that. Maybe they'll explain it in the third movie, whatever it's called, whatever it is. But I don't understand why Rey feels this insight to, you know, Kylo Ren's character. That to me is just they're just two fucking strangers. I guess, what's his name? Snoke.
Snoke supposedly hooked him up.
Yeah, but which pissed me off. Which reminded me of the bloody transport mind-meld in Discovery.
Yeah, that was what I was thinking about it.
But I mean, even like Snoke really sort of made out if there's a good, there's got to be a bad. Or bad, if there's bad, there's got to be a good. Which I sort of thought, well, it's almost an interesting premise. But you're basically saying that this empire or this galaxy will always be in turmoil because you always need one to counterbalance the other. And that, I don't think the filmmakers are so deep that they're trying to tell a moral of, or not the moral, but they're trying to tell a story that, you know, sometimes conflict is part of the existence.
Well, so now they've killed Snoke. Are they ever going to explain what he was doing for the last 30 years?
I doubt it.
We're just bringing up this super force user from out of nowhere, and that's turned Kylo Ren, and who knows what the hell he was doing. For the last 30 years when the Emperor was around. You know, was he hiding under a rock? I mean, who knows? Or was he like Highlander 3 and he was in the cave, and because the cave collapsed, he wasn't part of the prize.
I can only guess, but like I would have thought when they first sat down, J.J. Abrams and Lawrence Kasdan, they would have said, this is going to be our story, and this is what I want to get to at the end. You know, this is what I want to do in the second movie, this is what I want to do in the third movie, this is the arc I want to tell. This felt like some stuff had been really revised heavily. And it also feels like, because, you know, internet's an evil thing, I reckon, for movies, because you get so much speculation, and I think sometimes you can get, like, filmmakers going, well, that's what we're going to do, but now everyone knows we're fucking speculating what we're going to do, we're going to have to do something different. Because a lot of it felt like, well, not a lot, but parts of it felt like they just sort of said, let's go in a different direction with this. Let's not make Rey the daughter of Luke or whoever. Let's, you know, push this and make it a...
They still could, you know, that. Just because they say it's his daughter over, they could say, oh, well, we lied.
Yeah, or maybe Han and Leia were drunk one night and then sold her.
Well, I remember, like, one of the theories on Snoke was that he was the Emperor. He was deformed because he fell down that chamber with the... I don't know what sort of energy
it's
is now.
pointless. It's just killed too easy.
Yeah, but I'm just sort of saying, you know, like, I don't know what they were intending to do. I don't know how much it's changed throughout the filmmaking of this, but it's got that inevitability of it. Well, who gives a fuck? They're just Rey and Kylo will face one another. Who cares? I actually sort of was really hoping. What I was really fucking hoping, I knew it wasn't going to happen. But what I really hoped was after they killed Snoke, and Kylo said, "Well, you know, come join me. We can rule the galaxy together." Would have hoped that Rey said, "You know, let's fucking do it."
I would have loved it. I thought this is actually pretty interesting. She's going to be there, and,
Right on, bro.
and there's going to be this conflict throughout the next film.
No, and then that's
You know?
and that's when Luke comes back into it. It's like, I'm gonna kill you both.
I had a moment when after Snoke was killed and General Huxtable, is that what his name is? Came in and questioned Ren about what happened. And then Ren starts force choking him. I had this moment I thought, he's going to fucking like twist like the Emperor did and become Snoke. Because Snoke made a reference early on in the film about, well, you know, you're probably asking yourself why I keep a fucking lickspittle like him around when he's completely a doddering fucking moron. But I put him in charge of my entire First Order fleet. That I thought maybe that was his persona being projected.
Yeah. Which would have been actually interesting.
They could still do that in the next film. I don't think Snoke's gone. He's coming back.
You know what?
I don't think Snoke's gone.
You know
but
what?
If you bring him back, fucking hell.
You know what I really would have liked when Kylo was choking General
I thought it was
Hux.
just going to kill him. It was really good.
I actually would have liked if Kylo said, "Don't choke on your aspirations." that would have been the fucking great moment. Not.
Well, the other thing is which is we haven't brought up, which is not obviously whole. Who put whatever tracking device on the rebel fleet?
Never explained.
Never explained.
I thought Laura Dern was going to be like a traitor, but then no.
But they never explained who put that.
Nah.
And they could have only put it on the rebel fleet.
Well, did they have a tracking device?
No, how did they? But that's
Because-
how did they do it?
No, but did they have a tracking device? Because I thought they just explained the Imperials had experimental technology to track ships through hyperspace. That was what Flynn told them, because
Oh,
Flynn...
they were psychobabble. I don't know,
Finn cleaned the
technobabble,
room.
blah 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 blah. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's,
Finn-
it's something there we've got to turn
Yeah,
off.
Finn cleaned the room where that box was kept.
That's right.
No, but that's what I think. Actually,
Oh,
that's what they
was
said.
it?
I think they just sort of said they had experimental technology that could track ships through hyperspace. Flynn knew it. I mean, as Spook said, he's a fucking wiki page. He has mopped everywhere, and he's learned so
So
much
theoretically,
shit.
why don't they just do a quick jump, out, in, out, do a quick little zigzag somewhere?
Oh, because they said they could just track him through anywhere.
No,
No, they were going to put it out for 6 minutes so they can get away for the 6 minutes. So why don't they just go...
My first thought was that Dreadnought's got about 17 Star Destroyers behind it. Can none of them just light speed ahead of the ship and then sit
20
around
feet.
and
I mean,
shoot them?
Picard did that against bloody the Ferengi. It was like
They've got dreadnoughts, Star Destroyers and TIE Fighters.
They
Let's
weren't
be
bound
honest.
by fuel constraints. They can still jump to high
They
light
can't-
speed.
There's no other. There's no bombers. There's nothing else in the ships. So basically, we're just going to follow them and shoot little things at them.
And this is again paralleling
The
Empire.
other thing is actually, if the ship was faster than them, why didn't it get away?
Yeah, it should have eventually gained distance on them. before it
Yeah,
got away.
you'd think so it got out of their range. So it must have been relatively,
But they
fair
still,
bit quicker.
they still kept shooting at it.
But it must have been a fair bit quicker
No,
than them. So why
but
didn't they actually
But
get
I was saying
really
like
far?
the others are running out of petrol, which is when they actually caught up and hit him. But I was going to say this parallel Empire in terms of the chase. The really good thing in the fucking chase of Empire is, Han. The hyperspace doesn't
It's
work.
frenetic.
Yeah, it's frenetic. So the hyperspace doesn't work. So he's trying to fucking fix the hyperspace, and it's like. Sorry to cut you off. But he's trying to fix the hyperspace, and then the asteroid field comes, and he goes, well, fuck, the only way to really survive is let's go through this. Because that's going to kill their advantage of being bigger, faster, stronger.
Like going into the Mutara Nebula.
Yeah. So he goes into that, and then he actually goes into an asteroid, into a crater. And then when he realises, well, fuck, I'm not going to survive, he does the trick of landing the Falcon on top of one of the Imperial destroyers. So he's constantly doing things to try and defeat their advantage. In this one, it was just simply explained like, the rebels have got a little bit faster ships. Which is also really funny because you think, this war's been going on about fucking 60 years or whatever, and no one in Imperial or First Order headquarters said, can we build a little bit of a faster ship just so he can keep up with the rebels? Because we're chasing them, but they're getting away, and it's because they got a little bit smaller and a little bit faster.
Well, maybe when they decided they're going to build the new dreadnoughts and all the other ships, because they've got all these resources that who knows where the hell they got them from,
They'll make
that
it
they
up
would have
to-
built faster.
They'll
Ships
make it
that-
go up to 11.
Yeah.
just sort of really dumb though, in terms of there's a lot of qualifications in this, which are just sort of things they said to explain why certain things work the way they did, and that was like one of them. Was like, oh, they're a little bit faster, so we can't catch up to them.
Well, it's like the exposition with Rey when she was in the the supposedly dark force cave, and then she's talking over the top of it. I'm thinking, what's this exposition? What's this talk over the top of what she's doing? And then suddenly later you see that she's potentially talking to Kylo Ren, but it's like, I'm thinking, well, are you talking? Who are you talking to?
I have to say,
whereas in Empire they didn't explain anything. You just saw Luke go in there, fought Vader, saw himself. All right, you make what you want of that, but they don't have to explain it. You just make what you want of it.
I absolutely fucking hated with a passion all the Kylo Rey force melds.
It was like a teen romance on phone calls.
Shocking.
How you doing today, Kylo? You good? Yeah.
And I know Snoke's
still a bit conflicted. Yeah,
but the only thing is, fucking Snoke goes, well, I bridged you two. So Snoke knew where fucking Rey was, but he didn't know that Luke was just, in the next cabin.
Or Luke had switched himself off from the Force.
Yeah.
Because he's just turned it off like a switch.
But surely Snoke would go, hang on.
What the hell is she doing there?
That girl with the massive force has just gone to this unfindable planet. It's also funny, it's like this unfindable planet is the fucking Jedi Temple and shit. You'd have thought that would have been enshrined or destroyed, or it would have like a bit more locality in bloody Google Maps.
It was a pretty crappy temple anyway, let's be honest. There was nothing there, it was a big tree.
There was some markings on the floor and a puddle.
And a few books. That was it.
Oh,
So that's the Jedi Temple.
They had it tough back there in the day.
But that was like, I really hated that. That for me was like a really cheap, and they do it in Star Trek Discovery too, is a really cheap way to communicate plot. Just like, let's bond them over the thing. And I know the original movies did it really, but they always did it really briefly.
But the original movies did it when they were basically ship to ship away. They didn't do it across there.
But there's this one really good cut scene from Return of the Jedi where Luke's in the cave. Again, there's fucking caves in this universe. But he's in a cave working on his new lightsaber because he lost one in the Empire. And Vader's on his ship, and you just hear Vader go, Luke, come join me, and all that sort of stuff. And Luke just looks up grimly, and then he turns on his lightsaber, and you just and that's it. This cut scene. It's like a fucking brilliant scene. I'm not sure why they cut it. Probably because
it's too good.
Yeah, probably too good for the Jedi. It was like total fucking brilliance. But again, that was the only time it was used. Again, it was very brief. These two were having bloody, fucking
heart bombs.
Yeah, they're having Tinder conversations over the galaxy. It's just sort of ridiculous. Again, just to communicate plot.
Can you put a shirt on there next time, please? Your bristling muscles are so bristling.
But it was
the Force is strong on that one.
But they have no bond, I mean, if you sort of started the story in Fast that these two were lovers or whatever, the boyfriend girlfriend, and then they went different ways, you think, okay, well, I understand why they have a bond. What's their fucking bond in this other than they had a fight at the end of Fast? That was it. That was the only interaction these two had, and from that they've apparently bonded to this extent. It's quite possibly the quickest romance fucking ever.
Oh, I don't know.
I'm speechless. It's just, there's bad upon bad upon bad. Like I said, there's a couple of good scenes in it that they were pretty cool. But the thing looked very pretty. Special effects
visually
was great.
Visually it was brilliant.
Music, I was a bit disappointed with the old
John
John Williams.
That's not him.
No wonder I was disappointed. I thought it overpowered.
I didn't even take much notice of it.
Yeah,
but I did notice when the classic themes were used, like when the old Star Wars theme was playing, or that slow one that was played when Yoda was talking to him. They stand out then, but everything else was just mainly forgettable.
Yeah, So I was saying I was disappointed with John Williams. If it's not him, no wonder.
I think he's divorced himself from this fucking galaxy.
I'm disappointed with it. So the score wasn't great. It's
actually, can I just sort of go something else too? What the fuck was with that end scene with the little kid with the little rebel ring looking out to the galaxy
and holding the thing like a lightsaber?
But did you notice when he reached for the broom came to him?
I did. He used
he used like a little bit of the Force. So I don't know if that was meant to be commentary that, hey, this conflict's never ending. And if that's the commentary you're fucking making, it's really stupid because then you're just never going to change. It's going to be the same boring shit, just different characters carrying out the same storyline.
Well, they've got the secret Rebel Alliance secret rings that you get in out of the 20-cent machines, and they come with a rubber ball.
I'm with the rebellion. Check my ring. Look at my ring. I'm a rebellion.
Well, it was interesting that Luke said there was, after the Emperor died, there was balance, and then
about 4
I
years.
trained people. It's like, well, actually, you shouldn't trade people because there was the balance, you know. There was no one else around. That was the balance in the Force. What the hell did you stuff it up for?
But the whole argument's stupid. It's like he's saying, it's time for the Jedi, and I'm not going to train anyone. But you training Jedi isn't what creates the Force in people. People just have the Force,
and they're going to pick it up anyway, whether you're there or not.
And look,
I was thinking that it's time for that order and the way that they think to end, but still people are going to use the Force, which is not going to be under Jedi teachings, for want of a better word.
I mean, as we started this rant view, it just really, that whole premise that Lucas turned that angry, embittered, disillusioned. I mean, Mark Hamill had problems with this. I mean, God forbid the actor who's played the character, for fucking 10 years of his life and probably lived that character in his head for 30 years would know anything about that character.
I'd love to see, after these are over and he's not getting the paycheck anymore, because he'll probably get a paycheck for the next one.
I think
he'll come out and just slag it off.
Nah, he'll always keep stum.
Nah, I don't reckon.
No,
he'll write his autobiography or something like that, and he'll just say
this film will make a fuck ton of money and be perceived as successful. So he
of course, he's going to be perceived.
He won't shit on the legacy.
Yeah, but there's a few things.
He will, because Hamill's alright.
But Hamill has actually come out a couple of times and said he really had the argument with George Lucas about Empire, where he's facing Vader, and Vader says, "Come with me," and Luke says no, and he jumps down the funnel, and then Lucas dubbed in the scream where Luke jumps in and it was no, and Luke was saying, why would you Mark Hamill was saying, why would you dub in the scream? That was a choice he made to jump. Why would he scream? He knew he was going to do it. And I actually saw, just quite by chance, I saw this fucking interview he did on YouTube where he was talking about Empire, where he cuts off the arm of the Wampa, the snow creature, and he goes, he didn't realise they were going to cut that in. He goes, he hated that. He goes, it's not evil. It's just like a bear who's hungry trying to get food. And he goes, I thought when I swung the lightsaber, it was just to sort of drive him away. But then later on, I saw they cut an arm. And then in the fucking special edition, they showed the creature with
writhing in agony.
Yeah, writhing in agony without an arm. And he goes, he really hated that. Like, so I'm sort of curious. Maybe 5 years in the future or whatever, you'll just go, well, this is what I think. And I think the character Luke should have turned to this.
Well, if he's in the next one and he does his Force Ghost routine in the next one.
Well, I actually reckon they'll have to bring him back in the next one now because Carrie Fisher passed away.
Well, they have to anyway because
there's nothing left.
Well, supposedly, Yoda's there saying, "Oh, we can't lose Rey." Well, now he's dead. So he's got to get back and do something with Rey, because you can't say, "Oh, I'm going to lose her," or do not train.
That whole Yoda going, "Oh, we can't lose Rey," when in Empire he's going, Obi-Wan's going, "Oh yeah, well he's our only hope," and then fucking Yoda goes, "Oh, there's another." It's just like, well, you put all your money on those two. What, now you're just saying there's another one? Then what?
And there's another and another and
another.
And
it's just like, when's this fucking end?
Just accept the fact that you're dead, Yoda, and go.
Oh, well, how much ability do you have?
Yeah, how much ability he's still got as a dead guy, mate? Just why didn't he go and kill the Emperor back when he was dead?
Well, Luke can fight now as a Force Ghost, so why can't any Jedi?
Why don't they just bring them all? Let's bring Anakin, Luke, Obi-Wan and Yoda and just take out everyone.
Well, Anakin can take out the kids.
He can slaughter them like animals.
Oh, it's the sand people who can slaughter like animals.
No, he slaughters everyone like an animal.
You know, it's also sort of stupid, Rudine, just sort of occurred to me, is Luke projects his Force Ghost and, stalls Kylo, and then he, spontaneously implodes Luke and dies. If that was going to be the whole fucking point of your move, why don't you just go there in person and fucking take everyone on and then die in a blaze of glory? Why do this whole illusion just to stall them?
No, he had the happy ending too, because he got to see the twin sons said. It just was reminding him of Tatooine, and then he disappeared in a puff of logic.
I mean, I don't get that.
The logic was already disappeared before that came. Before that,
I used up all my Force powers.
I don't. No. I really don't get that. That why
he's not that old. Let's be honest. He's like, what? He have to be about 50
in that universe.
Yeah, in that universe, he have to be about 50. Obi-Wan was like 110.
Well,
Yoda was like 800.
Not in the retcon.
Oh, all right, but all right, not in the retcon. The retcon one is actually.
But it's
in the retcon one, he's probably, what is he? He's only about 40.
Just hypothetically, I mean, in the original movie, A New Hope, as it got rechristened, when they talked about the Empire, how long did you think the Empire had been?
I thought it had been going for like 50 years, 100 years. It had been going ages.
And the thing is, like, a lot of the technology's in decline, so everything felt like it was used. and been
Yeah,
around
I
for
thought
a
it had been
while.
going for.
So the Empire should have been around for centuries.
Yeah,
That's what I thought. I didn't think a century,
but
but I thought
50, 100
I did
years.
think at least a century. But then when they started tying things into, you know, Vader being Luke's father and shit like that, that started making the gap smaller and all that. And then in the prequels, they turned it into like 17 years. I mean, there's probably still ways they could have done it where it had been around for quite a while and Vader met someone when he was evil, you know?
Yeah, well, they could have easily.
And there was no... I mean, the prequels did it, but there was nothing in the original movie, or sorry, in the original trilogy that really suggests Vader has some great love that spawned 2 kids. I mean, he could have just raped someone who had 2 kids.
Yeah, it's a family movie. You can't do that.
Oh, well, you have bloody Chewbacca eating fucking penguins.
Well, the other thing is you could have him, you could have him kind of a bit evil. It's a bit evil, redeemed by the woman, and then somehow she died in some tragic circumstances, whatever, or she thought she died, and he turned super bad.
You could have done so many things. I mean, you could have...
That's what I would have thought happened.
I mean, you could have even done something where, you know, like the prequels where they have a relationship and Padme, or whoever, we'll call her Padme, she's pregnant, but she gets critically injured and they just cryogenically freeze her for a fucking 100 years and then 4 her out later to try and save her and she has the kids then, so it's all divorce from time separation.
But then Darth would have to be 100, so...
Yeah, but that's the thing, is I actually thought Darth was old, because...
But I thought Darth was sort of 50 years old.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
No, but like...
Well, it'd have to be matching the age of
Obi-Wan
almost.
Yeah,
because
right.
they're old friends, yeah.
But be younger.
But Uncle Owen just says, I don't think that crazy old hermit's even still alive. So, like, I mean, the impression is Obi-Wan is old, but there's also the impression because Yoda says in Jedi, you know, strong in mind the Force, but I'm not that strong. But having the Force prolongs your life. It doesn't make you immortal, but it actually prolongs your life. So I would have thought, like, Obi-Wan and Vader and all that were, like, you know, 100 because they'd been strong in the Force. And, you know, I mean, Obi-Wan's obviously decrepit in the first movie. But,
Yeah.
but I mean, he's not, you know, Ewan McGregor's like 30, 40 at the end of the prequels. And then the original trilogies only take place about 17, 18 years afterwards. So Obi-Wan should only be 58 or 55 at the best. Well, I mean, so we've gone off into a totally different fucking movie. So, I don't know, any other thoughts? I mean, do you really feel that the final installment's going to fucking offer anything?
No, I really have no interest in seeing it. You know,
I have interest in seeing it to see it off.
Luke's gone. We know, obviously, Leia has to die in between, off screen somewhere.
You never know. They could wheel out some old scenes.
Just without
put it
CGI.
in.
No, they'll just reverse it.
Well, they CGI'd Rogue One, remember?
They'll just reverse it floating in space.
Oh, fucking hell. Fuck.
Sorry. Yeah, so look, I have no great care for the new characters. Without that link to the past, for me, it's going to be a struggle to go to the next one.
So actually, let me just sort of jump back with this, because I mean, I think it's a really interesting point where early in the movie, Poe wakes up from his unconsciousness. And again, just wakes up. Just fucking wakes up, because that's everything in this movie just happens because it needs to happen. And then... sorry, not Poe, Finn. And then, but then Poe sees him and runs up and like, hey, how's it going, buddy? And all this.
Was that meant to be a follow-up from the previous film?
From his wound from fighting.
Yeah.
From watching the movie. From watching, yeah. And it's like, you two fucking don't know each other at all, that you have this friendship, that you're that excited to see each other. And again, there's just something they just keep pushing, like, these things exist because we're telling you they exist. We're never actually shown that they exist, or shown them develop. Like, you know, in Fast, there's that scene where, you know, Poe's walking down and there's all the X-Wings and all that sort of shit, and then he sees Finn in his leather jacket, and he runs up and goes, hey, good to see you alive, you know, and Finn, you're wearing my jacket, and he goes, oh, you keep it, you look good, and it's like, you shared 7 minutes of screen time together, escaping the Imperial ship, or the First Order ship, and you develop this huge bond, and it's meant to mirror in A New Hope, where Luke and Han do that same thing, they do the hug. But that's after they destroy the Death Star. So Han saved him. They've had the adventures on the Death Star. They had all the adventures escaping Tatooine.
Yeah, they were together for a while.
For pretty much, you know.
And saved each other's lives.
60, 70% of the movie, you see them develop a rapport. They fucking talk. They have clashes and all that. And you think, oh yeah, you understand. why they became friends. These two is just like, no, you've been told, yeah, they're going to be friends. And that's the thing I actually think is going to be really interesting in the next movie is they're going to tell us where these characters are at, and we're not going to have seen any of it actually develop.
It'll be 10, 20 years down the track, I reckon.
It won't be 10, but yeah, it'll jump. It'll jump a bit.
The other thing that they did, and they flagged it with 80-foot flags, was at the end where Poe introduces himself to Rey, because obviously before she fucked off, they didn't bump into each other at the Rebel base, and she's gone, oh, he's a bit of a hottie. And then he's looked over and saw Finn's got the thing for I can't even remember what her name is.
I noticed that
Rose,
they never.
the
I was
polisher.
like, it was very obvious. Yeah.
So obviously we're going to have these two together now, and now we're giving these two something to lust after, and that'll be where they'll pick up 10 years down the track.
Well,
We've re-established the rebellion. It won't be a resistance now. It will clearly be the rebellion, and they might as well rename the First Order the Empire Mark II or something.
And rename this movie A New Hope 2. A Newer Hope.
Supreme Leader.
A Newer Hope.
Ren or something.
Yeah, it'll be Supreme Leader Ren.
So it's I reckon it'll be set down the track, and the rebellion has to be more than 12 people, so it'll be well and truly in full flight. So it has to be a number of years have passed. And Rey's probably really good at using the Force by this time too.
You reckon? After she might be.
She'll be just sitting around moving planets or fucking something.
Yeah, Chief, are you looking forward to any of?
Well, I was just thinking about when we did before the jump. I said I wasn't looking forward to much except the Luke stuff, and that just shattered me because I reckon it was all rubbish. So, am I looking forward to the next one? At the moment, no. But as it get closer, I'm sure I'll get sucked in again. But it's just it's irredeemable. It's like the Hobbit, the third Hobbit. I didn't want to. The third.
The second one's terrible. That
the second one was terrible, but the third Hobbit film I didn't want to see, but I just had to see it to complete the trilogy. Even though I knew it was going to be terrible, I had to see it, and it'll be the same here. So I know it's going to be bad, but I'll see it.
I actually really interested in terms of how you feel compelled to see it, because this movie, the big driving force to see it was fucking Luke.
Mm-hmm.
He's no longer there.
That's true.
And
he's no longer there.
And Han's not there.
Chewie, 3PO and R2.
And R2 had about 3 minutes. He'll just be showing fucking home videos.
3PO was even worse than just not 3PO as well. And Leia's dead, so she's not going to be in it.
Actually, can we just?
So who we got? Rey, yeah, don't care. Finn, yeah, really don't care.
Yeah,
Poe,
Rose, though.
yeah, really don't care.
There's no reason there.
The Pogs. What are they? Pogs?
Porgs or
the
Pogs,
penguins,
penguins,
or
yeah.
barbecue
I'm going to say
chicken.
for the Porgs. They're going to be the Ewoks. It's going to be Porg Adventure.
Well, maybe that and the Diamond Foxes.
Yeah, the Diamond Fox will be a Porg and Diamond Fox
who were
Adventure.
there for no other reason than to show them where the exit was.
And he went through a little hole. Actually, can I just sort of throw something else in? BB-8, the fucking shit he did in this movie. You might as well have just called, just kill everyone and just make him the hero of the movie.
It's like Snowy and Tintin.
You just make 20 BB-8s. You don't need anyone else. Why don't you just make 20 BB-8s?
When Finn and Rose were rescued on the Imperial fucking First Order ship, when it just started shooting, and I actually thought it was going to be Benicio del Toro.
Did you? I thought it was actually going to be Rey.
I didn't think it was going to be BB-8.
I thought it was going to be Rey, actually.
Yeah, well, no one thought it was going to be a fucking little robot. And I got to throw back to another scene too, when at the beginning of the movie where Poe is flying over the fucking dreadnought and he's shooting out the cannons, and then his lasers get knocked out, and he goes, "BB-8, you got to fucking help me." And then BB-8 starts trying to plug the fuses or some shit, and there's always another fuse being blown, and he's trying, it's not working. This, seriously, what he ends up doing, he fucking rams his head into it. He's tantamount to bloody Captain Kirk kicking the fucking warp core back into place in Star Trek Into Darkness. It was quite... stuff like that, when you watch stuff like that, you think, you have no fucking logic in this movie. And, like, I understand the Star Wars don't have, like, the fantasy sciences of Star Trek, but they've always just sort of maintained some semblance of logic around, you know, we're jumping here, we're going to go here, and all that. That's all it is. You know, and then if something's happened, like Luke's gone, oh, you know, can you lock that down? And we understand the droid's working on a solution. We don't know why or how he's doing it. We just know that's the way they interface. To have the fucking BB-8 unit ram his head into it repeatedly, it's just stupid. It doesn't...
And Poe was happier to see BB-8 than anyone else at the end.
Oh, yeah.
He's like a dog. Scratched him under the ears.
And also the evil BB-8 on the First Order ship, the black BB-8. You know, so look, there's
BB-9 maybe.
There was like a little box bin walking around. Oh, I see. And like it's fucking walking into stormtroopers and that. No one's thinking, no, it's a little bit. And actually, I forgot something when I was ranting about fucking Finn's the storyline of convenience, where he just kept running into things he needed. I forgot. They actually went to the fucking Imperial ship or First Order ship and they landed in the laundry, so they got fucking uniforms. The uniforms were being pressed. It was like, oh, life on the First Order ship. They're getting there.
Well, you got the janitor, so he knows exactly where to get the uniforms from.
He knows everything. He doesn't need them.
At least I'll get it. That's got some logic. I know where the uniforms are because I'm the janitor.
So, and you go back to was it Raiders of the Lost Ark, where he does that submarine ride, and when he comes into the base, he. Yeah, well, I need a fucking German uniform, and there's a big guy and the little guy, I think, there, and he ends up fucking belting the little guy, and he's struggling to get into the uniform. It's like literally 20 or 30 seconds of screen time, but it's a great little moment. It's not that hard to insert something in that. How did you get the uniforms? Make it interesting. Do something with it. They did the same thing as fucking Rogue One. They just suddenly walk into frame in the uniforms required to get them into the next scene.
But that's a good thing. They actually did that in the New Hope because
the Stormtrooper uniform.
Yeah, but he's actually played it because Mark Hamill was short. But they beat up people. Mark Hamill was short, and you know it was like they sort of played on it as a joke. Well, Lego's actually a little short to be a Stormtrooper and all that. And that's actually really well done. But in these things, everything in these fucking two movies, and I actually really had hope because J.J. Abrams wasn't in charge of this one, that it wouldn't be driven by convenience. This one I actually reckon was worse. I was sort of sitting there about halfway through thinking, I'm actually thinking this is worse than Fast Awakens. I really am. I mean, Fast Awakens is bad, but
it's as good as Empire. The internet told me that.
Yeah.
The internet does.
I mean, I have no hope for the next one. I don't really care because I said, you know, but after we saw the first movie, where are you going to go after this storyline? They're just going to face each other down.
That's all you can see in this third one. Is they're going to face each other down at the end, and it's either going to die or turn, one or the other.
Yeah, so
it would have been very interesting, like we said before, that if Rey went with him, and basically that finished the movie. All right, Rey's gone with him. They've stopped
Snoke, but
they've stopped Snoke. Rey goes with him, and they don't kill the rest of the ships, and they fly off. That would have been great. And each one's trying to turn each other for the next film. So Kylo's trying to turn Rey to the dark side, and Rey's trying to, in essence, fight it and turn Kylo to the light side. That would have been interesting. That would have been an interesting film. Yeah, it would have been an interesting. Yeah, whether how that they did it, because you got no confidence in them doing anything good with it. But that would have been an interesting premise to actually go something new to go with it. But no, it's going to be another rehash.
And the thing is, like, I don't really care where Poe and Finn and all that end up. I mean, in terms of the original trilogy, I think half of Return of the Jedi is a terrible movie. It's really bad. All that Ewok bit, all of Han and Leia, that was all really poor. And to me, watching that movie, they'd outlived their usefulness in terms of that story. The only part we really needed to know was Luke's confrontation with Vader.
They just needed to have him do something.
Yeah, and that was what it was. They needed to have him do something. They needed, what are we going to get him to do? A lot of this movie felt like that. It was like, we need people to do stuff, make up stuff. It's not going to be essential to a storyline, but we need to make it seem essential. So let's have...
So what was the essential bit? I can't think of the essential bit.
The only essential bit was Rey tracking down Puke.
That was done in the end of the first movie. Yeah. So what is essential bit in this movie?
I got to say, what an absolute fucker of him. That first scene where...
throws the lightsaber away.
Yeah, she hands him the lightsaber and he just throws it over his shoulder. It's like, he made us wait fucking 2 years for that. That is a total prick. And I know people go, oh, it was cute, it was funny, it shows how disillusioned Luke was and all that sort of shit. No, it shows how little you understand the fucking characters. It really does. It's just a dumb fucking scene.
You would have thought it said, where the hell did you get this? You know, my hand got chopped off. Where's my hand?
Well, there's no answer to where that fucking saber come from. So why would he ask the fucking question? She gonna say, "Came in a box in a fucking basement from a creature with eyes like an anus."
She should have just said, "Well, that's a question for another time."
Oh yeah, why not?
Yeah, but that's just that whole fucking opening. And I actually found so we actually sort of back on this movie. I actually found a lot of the pacing, the intercutting. It was like, all right, where's Luke? We're here for about 7 seconds, and now we're jumping to fucking see 28 minutes of very slow chase scene through space. And they were back with Luke for 9 seconds.
Well, they had the three cuts. So they had obviously the Luke
Oh,
bit,
and
they
then
had the
Finn,
chase
like-
scene, and then they had the Finn off in casino
and-
scene. But everyone said, "Oh, how
And
fantastic is this scene?"
None of them were interested.
And a lot of the early Luke stuff was just the same thing. She's going, train me. He goes, no.
Fuck
Bang.
off. Fuck
Yeah,
off,
fuck
mate.
off.
Fuck
Next thing, train me. No. And he's fishing. Train me. No. She shoots a fucking hole in the wall. It was just
Meant
sort
to
of...
show her tenacity and to be able to get there.
Oh, yeah. It showed something, all right. So I have no hope for this fucking franchise anymore. George Lucas, please come back and buy it back. It's all is forgiven.
The prequels are good.
Prequels, compared to this, on the curve, prequels are not good movies, but compared to these movies, they're fucking brilliant. I know Chief sort of rates these movies better than the prequels. You still actually, that's interesting. After we saw Fast, we had a big discussion. Me, you, Spook, and Kid Chief, who joined us for that night, and we brought up the question: Is Fast Awakens better or worse than the prequels? Spook and I said the prequels were better than Fast. You and Kid Chief rated the Fast better than prequels. Now we're 2 movies into this universe trilogy. Which ones are better?
You know what you have to do? I've got to watch them all, and then come back. So I think we need to watch them all, and then we need to rate them, because last time I saw the prequels was ages ago, and it left a bitter taste in the mouth. So did the Fast left a bitter taste in the mouth. I don't think the prequels. I say it now without thinking about it. I don't think the prequels have that much stupidity in it
Oh, they just,
that these ones do. The prequels, like, look, Jar Jar Binks is just a shocking character. The whole Jar Jar Binks, underwater guns, whole storyline is rubbish. But Qui-Gon's a great character. He's a fantastic character.
Brilliant.
Darth Maul's good. Ewan McGregor's good. So that bit, those 3 are really good, and the rest are shit. So the problem is, because you got some good characters there, this one you don't have good characters. So it's a bit different. So even though the storyline is rubbish, you actually get saved by some great performances.
I look at the prequels, and there's certain scenes I love in the prequels. Like, it's only a handful, but I think they're fucking brilliant scenes. They're brilliant. And I actually throw up the first half of Darth Maul versus Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan as like a top 5 scene in all of Star Wars, not just the prequels, but in all.
First.
In Phantom Menace.
The fight.
Yeah, the fight.
The fight's great.
Yeah, I actually rated up there, like, with my favourite scenes. I mean, I've always said, I love that fucking scene in Phantom Menace when Qui-Gon's cutting through the door with the lightsaber, and then they cut to the Trade Federation, and they're going, oh, he's still coming. They close the blast doors, and they close them, but they see that starting to melt too. And the other guy going, oh, he's still coming. One of them goes, oh, he will not survive. And they show Qui-Gon just cutting it, and the music pipes in. He's got the focus. I think it's a fucking brilliant
That's
moment.
great. The problem is they wreck that with
they-
the fact that the droids come and
they
they
wreck
have
it.
to run.
Yeah, they wreck it from
So they
that
should
point.
just demolish. See, if they just demolished all them, that would have been great.
Well, that was what I was saying to Spook. If they actually got through that door, it would have been a much more interesting story. But I'm just saying, as a moment, it was fucking brilliant. I actually think and a lot of the prequels does this. A brilliant moment followed by shit. In Revenge of the Sith, when the mask goes down on Anakin, the Vader mask, and you hear the breathing go from the rasp to the Vader breathing, I mean, it's a fucking brilliant scene. It's ruined when Vader gets up and, you killed Padme, no. But I sort of look at those moments and go, there's still fucking brilliant scenes. The rest of the movies aren't great. These ones, there was a couple of good moments in this movie, based around the main characters again, or based around Luke.
What moments were good based around Luke?
I like fucking when Luke took on Kylo and he just sort of faced him down. I thought that was really cool. They ruined it later on.
That's shit because it wasn't him. That wrecked that whole background of it. It just wrecked it.
I actually
stupid.
No, I really liked it because
it's
I really liked it from the point. I really liked it from the point of view of this is how powerful Luke is. Then they fucked it up by saying, "Oh, he's just."
That's what I'm saying. It would have been great if he actually was there, but that's what I'm saying. So that was great. It's like, oh, look how tough he is.
Oh no!
And then he's a Force ghost. Like,
I didn't mind. I didn't mind if it was a Force projection. That would have been fine because that would again show me how powerful he is. But that trick killed him. That's what fucked it up. And what was the other? I said something.
I don't think the trick killing. It was just time.
Whatever. But he dies. That's the fucking thing I'm saying. It totally undoes it. And there was whatever I said before. I can't remember because I'm not remembering.
The Snoke bit was good. So when
Snoke. That's right. So there's one Luke bit. Yeah. Fast. I didn't have any good moments. There was nothing I enjoyed in that fucking movie as a great Star Wars moment. The one moment that could have been a great Star Wars moment is when Kylo beats up Finn and the lightsaber lands in the snow, and then you see Kylo about to face fucking Rey, and you see the lightsaber trembling. And I thought that's when Luke's going to come in, the lightsaber's going to go to him, bang.
It's funny how Mark Hamill thought the same thing.
Yeah, and what would he know?
What would he know?
What would he know about Luke Skywalker? Yeah, and I thought that would have been a fucking... And like, I remember watching that movie going, this is going to fucking redeem this movie, this one moment, and it was just Rey, and I was like, okay. In these two movies, they really haven't done anything where I was sort of looking and going, oh, this is memorable. This is great.
The issue with these movies, they're just rehashes of the New
But
Hope,
they're
Empire, and Jedi. They've just taken things holeless, bolus, and moved them into this. The one thing you got to give with the first three films is Lucas actually did something totally different, and you got to give him credit for that. Even though he was obviously looking at the merchandising on Phantom Menace with the guns and the
from
rest of
Jedi,
it.
he's looking at merchandising.
Well, at least in the next two, he actually didn't just have his eye on merchandising and nothing else. Because in that first one, the gun, it's just pointless. It's rubbish. That's the whole rubbish. That's what I like about it. That whole gun thing. And there's meant to be some fan edits that have actually toned that whole thing down. Yep. I've got to get it and have a look at it. Yeah, it's meant to make the movie much better.
You don't watch a lot of shit Star Wars. The Phantom Menace to me also sort of misses some... It actually misses crucial moments. There's like when Anakin's doing the pod racing, it really needed that moment where he's losing and he just sort of tunes into the Force and he's piping the music, and that's why he wins. It's like, when Luke's going down the trench and Obi-Wan goes, use the Force, and then he sort of tunes in. Anakin never does that. He's just always racing. He's always relying on his own skill. They actually just sort of needed that moment where he focuses for a little bit and you pipe in the music and then he overtakes him, whatever.
But don't they imply though that a lot of his ability is...
They imply it, but you do
latent Force usage.
That's what it implies.
Yeah, but I actually reckon you need sort of those moments like you did with Luke. Just here's a moment where... I actually reckon it's a brilliant moment in Empire where, Yoda goes, "I'll fucking lift the ship, out of the swamp." And Luke tries, and for a moment you get that hope because the ship's coming up, and then Yoda's going, "Oh, fuck, he's going to do it." And then it doesn't do it, and Luke goes, "Oh, you asked the impossible," And then Yoda does it. It's like a really brilliant moment, but it's also just brilliant that Luke almost... You also feel he's really close to it, but you also feel like, well, that's the personification of his abilities in that moment, which is great. And that's what I think Anakin did
almost,
in that movie.
but just not quite there. Yeah. So he's almost, but he's just not quite
that's
there.
What, I mean, look, we talked about this the other day. The Phantom Menace doesn't begin in the right place for me. I understand Lucas probably wanted to show Vader well before he was Vader. But I'm just saying, in terms of those prequels, got some great moments. These new two, and you know what, I'll fucking throw in Rogue Dumb also. There's really, a couple of moments today that I liked. Let's see if I remember them in 3 days' time.
You'll remember the Snoke moment because, the smoke moment, because basically that's all he is in the whole film. He's pointless. He's useless.
I mean, the one interesting thing, we just sort of lauded the moment, like as being a good moment, but it's also stupid that you think this guy is so capable. They've shown him for 10 minutes kicking Rey's ass, kicking Kylo's ass, and he didn't sense that this was happening, that this lightsaber was turning around next to him. You think he had a lot greater awareness of his surroundings and that, which was like a big fucking lecture, by all the Force users in previous movies. You're aware of all your surroundings and all that sort of stuff because the Force is infused in everything.
Well, until you know who the hell Snoke is, it's just... I don't know. There's still questions in.
That's probably the number one thing that I'll be curious about if they actually answer that. If they just
if they don't answer it, mate, just go and blow up Disney. It's stupid.
But
the whole core of Kylo Ren turning bad is all about Snoke and all this. If you can't answer it, whoever you are, JJ, if you can't answer it, go blow yourself up because it's just stupid.
I don't think they will answer it.
Oh, mate, it's just ridiculous. What am I watching these films for?
I can't answer that.
Because you guys bring me to them, that's why.
But it's like Rey.
You take me to these films.
But it's like Rey. I think they had plans for that and they changed their premise. And
I don't care if you change premise. Bring a new premise. I don't give a shit. Just explain something.
No, but I think with that, it was just meant to be, this is... I don't know. I think they just say, this
bring
is...
some super big bad
I agree with you.
It's just fucking stupid.
Go swear at fucking JJ and Ryan Johnson.
I'm swearing at everyone.
And Disney.
Answer it.
You go fucking Mickey Mouse. Go swear at Mickey Mouse.
If you don't answer it...
We should all go to Disneyland. You should just kick fucking stuffed animals in the crotch.
Star Wars Land? They're going to have Star Wars Land at Disneyland, They're going to have a Star Wars area.
Well, they haven't had a Star Wars movie.
They're going to have Jar Jar Binks. Missa.
Anyway, I just want to say in closing that I am glad that the franchise is in capable hands with the next director for the third film.
JJ.
Oh, it's petition.
Is it JJ?
No,
Yeah.
it hasn't been formalised.
No, it's JJ.
When?
No, it's JJ.
Oh, I heard it's JJ.
No, that was like being touted. I don't
It's
know.
JJ. He's got to come
No,
back.
it was announced.
Yeah, it's
Um,
JJ.
Yeah, so it's in great hands and everything will be sorted.
You serious? It's JJ. It's actually
Yep.
officially JJ.
Yep. Oh, Disney.
It's JJ.
Disney love a good puppet.
You will now find me.
Is that,
In heavy tra- I actually heard it was touted, but I heard there was like a petition going.
Let's
up
bring
to stop it.
Tarantino in, like for
No,
Star
no,
Trek.
no,
We'll bring
Disney-
Tarantino in to do
Disney
something.
formally announced that they were partnering with
Yeah, it's
him
JJ.
again.
I heard that too. It's JJ.
Oh fucking! How do you keep finding work? Do people not see how badly plotted anything you've been associated with is?
They don't care about plot. They care about dollars.
fucking
The
hell,
dollars
really?
are good.
Yeah,
Oh,
the dollars
God.
are. That's all. Like all that Disney cares about is how much dollars.
The mouse
am I
is an
making?
accounting firm.
The mouse is sitting. The mouse should be Mouse McDuck. You know, like Scrooge McDuck had the big
Mouse
big
McDuck.
vault.
Mouse
Mouse
McDuck.
McDuck.
That's
Yeah,
what-
Scrooge
oh.
McDuck. Yeah.
Scrooge McDuck. He had the big Mouse McDuck.
money
He's got the
vault.
big vault. That's all he cares about. They just care about
Just
making.
quietly, how
making
good was that
money.
fucking money vault?
That was crazy. It was like it was swimming.
Name me one
swimming in
person who
money.
didn't read those comics and just wanted to go swimming in a money vault.
All right. So, any totally last thoughts about The Last Jedi?
Nah, I can fuck off.
Don't see it.
Oh well, it's probably too late. Well,
So don't you see it, but have no expectation.
no. You know, I challenge you. If you see it, you keep the analytical part of your mind on. Stories shouldn't treat you this disrespectfully. It is really badly written. It's really badly plotted. It is really badly fucking structured. It is probably right now is my worst Star Wars movie. It makes fucking the Star Wars Christmas special look like a masterpiece.
It
The
is
whole
a masterpiece.
Yeah, you know, fucking. We're gonna go off, watch Caravan of Courage, see some real Star Wars now. Anyway, that's it from us for now. If you want to hear what our jump off point review is, just check out YouTube.
Unless, of course, you listen to it first.
Yep. But for now, that's it from us.
If you hear a jump off point, you want to hear this.
Yep. Either way. That's it from me. I'm Sly.
I'm the chief.
And I'm tired, Spook.
Okay. See you later.